This world doesn't reward kindness, it rewards control. While you spend your energy trying to be good, someone colder is already planning how to use that goodness against you. For the next half hour, you'll walk through 6 Machiavellian laws, quiet, ruthless tools that cut through anxiety, hesitation, and noise, so you stop leaking power and start directing it. Not to become cruel, but to become composed. Not to dominate by volume, but to command by presence. You already know the first enemy. You've spent nights scripting disasters that never happened. You call it caution, but it's really a quiet surrender. Worry doesn't protect you, it drains you. It advertises defeat in your eyes, your voice, your posture. Machiavelli would say a wise ruler doesn't live in fear, he plants it in others. The mechanic is simple and brutal. Catch the story the moment it starts forming. Ask, is this real or a guest wearing armor? Name it and the curtain drops. Your mind was trying to sell you theater as truth. Label the prediction. Return your breath to baseline and convert that anxious energy into one concrete step you'll do next. The ruler saves power for preparation and timing. The ruled spend it on nightmares. Worry also exposes you. People don't always need to attack you. They can just watch you tremble and understand where to press. The shaking hands around a coffee cup, the restless eyes in a meeting, the rush to fill silence. These are tells, loose threads inviting someone to pull. Recognition is a weapon because it severs the thread before others can tug. When you recognize that worry is a script, not a signal, you stop acting inside it. You don't beg the world to quiet down, you quiet your inner narrator. The first law is not to feel nothing, it is to refuse to be ruled by untested predictions. The second law is observation over reaction. Human instinct flinches, power doesn't broadcast. Charles Darwin once stood in front of a lunging snake behind thick glass. His mind knew the barrier was safe, yet his body still recoiled. Fear is human, panic is optional. In rooms of power, the first to react loses. Criticize a man, and if he snaps, he reveals his wound. Stay still, eyes steady, breath slow, and the attacker's blade vanishes into air. He threw it at your reaction and missed. Composure is not passivity. It is a trap that looks like still water. People walk into it and only realize too late that it wasn't water at all, it was glass. Observation is a craft. You pause 3 seconds before you answer. You watch breath rates, micro-fidgets, filler words. You notice who must fill silence and who lets it work. You ask, does replying serve my objective or only my ego? If it serves nothing, you let the silence do the speaking. There's an old merchant's lesson. A rival provokes to drive the price down. The wise man stays silent long enough for the rival to negotiate with himself. Impatience auctions off control. Observers read the board. Reactors become pieces on it. Law 3, act, don't overthink. More empires die of hesitation than the sword. The modern disease is elegant ideas with no first step. Machiavelli would say that a bad plan executed beats 1,000 perfect plans imagined. Action creates knowledge. Thought follows like a shadow. Picture a soldier in the rain tightening his armor. He doesn't know exactly where the enemy will come from, but the edge will not wait until he understands. He sharpens anyway. That is the rhythm of power. Sharpen, move, correct. The mind is allowed to follow. It is not allowed to stall. You enact this with a simple discipline, the next non-trivial step. Not busy work, not mood management, but a move that dented reality by tonight. Send the email that risks a reply. Make the call that can be refused. Ship the draft that can be criticized. If you're wrong, correct fast. If you're still thinking, you're probably hiding. History doesn't remember the thinker at the gate. It remembers the one who knocked. Overthinking is how pride disguises fear as refinement, as prudence, as just being careful. Action exposes fear to weather, and in weather, fear hardens into competence, or it dissolves. Law 4 is presence over scatter. Exhaustion often doesn't come from doing too much. It comes from being nowhere fully. Power concentrates where attention concentrates. Watch the truly powerful. Their gait is unhurried, their gaze stable, their listening clean. Rooms bend toward them because their attention isn't for sale. They do not live half in yesterday's argument and half in tomorrow's fantasy. They live inside the 1 minute they are spending, and because they live there, they shape it. Presence wins wars that noise would lose. Imagine a commander on a ridge while cannons roar and dust clouds churn. He watches the wind, the rhythm of hooves, the angle of flags. An officer shouts, "Aren't you afraid?" "Of course," he says, "but if I lose presence, I lose the army." Panic narrows vision. Presence widens it. You practice this with rituals. When you eat, just eat. When you speak, just speak. When you fight, just fight. You remove 1 daily bleed notifications muted for 2 uninterrupted hours. You anchor with breath, feet on the ground, eyes still while others perform. The scattered chase moments, the present sets tempo. And in any room, tempo is power. Law 5 is living over rehearsing. Over-preparation is often escape disguised as discipline. Many people practice looking strong while never becoming strong. They rehearse lines in mirrors, perfect their walk, and die when the bell rings because reality doesn't accept rehearsal hours as currency. The modern version is polished posts, curated words, controlled masks, souls fading under the weight of perfection. Time steals from those who rehearse for battles that never arrive. It quietly moves the battlefield while they pose. You replace rehearsal reps with reality reps. 1 real rep a day that can fail. Ask for the meeting. Publish the page. Approach the person. Debrief, don't self-hate. What worked? What adjusts tomorrow? Scars replace props. Scars are proof you existed. Pretenders lose to those who live inside the arena because the arena only respects contact with it. Pretense doesn't hide weakness in the game of power. It exposes it. The longer you perform strength, the more brittle you become. The sooner you do the unpolished act, the sooner you stop being an actor and start being a person. The 6th law is ruling the inner world: tranquility. Tranquility isn't apathy. It is command of reaction. The most dangerous person in a storm is not the loud one. It is the steady one. Picture a king betrayed by his court. They expect rage, spectacle, punishment. He says nothing for 3 days. In that silence, the court corrects itself. Calm can terrify because calm cannot be steered. Noise tries to scatter you: politics, media, metrics, because a scattered mind is easy to lead. Peace is not the prize you get at the end. It is the discipline you practice first. You build it deliberately, 10 minutes a day with breath and a pen, letting the mind settle, then writing what is true and what is imagined. You refuse to pay manipulators with attention. Reaction is the coin they demand. You understand the water model: soft, absorbing, unstoppable. The angry strike and dissolve in their own fury. The wise reflect and redirect. When you no longer need to win every small argument, you begin to control the long war. Your heartbeat becomes a metronome other people can't speed up. They either slow down to your rhythm or exhaust themselves trying to break it. Tranquility makes you unintimidatable because you stop negotiating with adrenaline. The world can throw stones. You stack them into walls. It can hurl insults. You don't rent them space. You don't chase the room, you set the room. Eyes turn not because you shout, but because you are there. You are unhurried in a culture trained to sprint in circles. You are specific in a culture addicted to vagueness. You become the center not by demanding it, but by being the only thing in the room that isn't rushing. Together, the 6 laws form one posture: recognize rather than worry. Because untested predictions are theater. Observe rather than react. Because reaction sells your center for cheap. Act rather than overthink, because knowledge wants movement before it will show itself. Be present rather than scattered, because attention is gravity and gravity draws orbits. Live rather than rehearse, because props don't win fights. Rule yourself rather than everything else, because the person who rules himself can't be ruled by anything. There will always be voices that want you performative, explainable, predictable. You don't owe them your rehearsal. You don't owe them your speed. You owe yourself one thing: to stand upright in the storm long enough for the weather to realize you are not moving. Write one sentence if you're in: I control myself. Save it for the days when your nervous system tries to sell you back into panic. Then keep going. Exchange one worry for one preparation. Exchange one reaction for one observation. Exchange one perfect plan for one imperfect step. Exchange one scattered hour for one present minute. Exchange one performance for one real rep. Exchange one loud answer for one quiet decision. You do not need applause. You need a throne inside your chest and the discipline to sit on it. When a person truly awakens, he does not talk about power, he becomes power. He walks into the room and the noise adjusts itself. He listens and people start choosing their words. He chooses and the game tilts. If this made your mind tremble even for a moment, don't let the tremor pass without a step. The next chapter goes deeper: silent manipulation, the use of darkness, the mastery of calm domination. For now, take the laws and practice them where it counts. In the next conversation, the next decision, the next minute you are tempted to leave yourself. Hold attention, hold presence, hold the crown where it belongs.